A great number of people have found that the idea of being the observer has been a guiding principle for them as they travel the path of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. On the other hand, it is now being suggested that in order to achieve a complete awakening and go through a profound identity shift, it is absolutely necessary to let go of the identity of being the observer. It is revealed that this identity, which may have served its purpose in the early stages of one's spiritual journey, is actually a filter over the truth. This identity may have been useful in the beginning. During this investigation, we will investigate the nature of the observer, we will challenge the illusions that it creates, and we will embark on a direct experience in order to discover the core of consciousness. The common teaching that you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of them, is acknowledged as being true. However, there is a contention that the observer is not a separate entity that is distinct from everything else. Rather, it is the only thing that exists. There is a tendency for the mind to manufacture an image or concept of the observer as a material entity, which ultimately results in the formation of a different identity. Despite the fact that this identity is conceived of as consciousness, it is emphasized that this is a misunderstanding because consciousness is not a thing. It is not a thing at all. It is nothing. Recognizing that consciousness cannot be known and that no individual, mind, or ego can comprehend its true nature is the challenge that lies ahead. The concept of dropping the identity of being the observer is proposed as a means of facilitating a direct experience. This leads to the realization that the truth that is being sought after is already present. In this statement, the assertion that there is no observer and only what is observed is presented as a straightforward yet profound proposition. No one is listening to the sound. Sound is sound. Although there is no thinker or observer of thoughts, thoughts themselves are thought. The only thing that exists is sensations. There is no feeler. As a result of this shift in perspective, individuals are encouraged to refrain from attribute a position or location to the observer and instead acknowledge the straightforwardness of what is observed. The goal is to let go of the idea of an observer and come to terms with the fact that there is no independent entity that is carrying out the observation of something. They are self-contained, appearing within consciousness like scenes from a movie. Sound, thoughts, and sensations are all examples of this notion. There is a comparison made between the individual and the screen, and appearances are projected onto the screen. There is an emphasis placed on the senses in order to provide an illustration of the direct experience. When it comes to hearing, it is emphasized that the act of listening is the sound itself. There is no separate entity that participates in listening. When it comes to the visual field, the same principle is applied. There is no observer, only what is observed. The difficulty lies in experiencing what is observed that does not involve the presence of an observer. This change in perspective is characterized as a transformation in which one becomes space, and it appears to vanish as the position of the observer gradually disappears. An extension of the investigation is thoughts, which are frequently a source of both identity and separation. It has been suggested that there is no observer of thoughts. On the contrary, there are only thoughts alone. The act of making an effort to become the observer is considered to be another identity that is created by thoughts. The comparison of thoughts to clouds, which are characterized as being translucent and dreamlike, is made using the metaphor of the sky. One can make the claim that people are already liberated from the world, but that their consciousness has become so engrossed in the dream that it has forgotten that it is a dream. Redefining the idea of oneness, with an emphasis on the fact that it is not about experiencing oneself as the trees, animals, or other bodies, is the focus of this new definition. The experience of everything is instead that of the individual. As a result, the identity of the separate observer disappears, and everything is perceived as being transparent and dreamlike. The assumption that the world is real is called into question, and the concept that consciousness itself is the only thing that can be considered real is presented. For the purpose of developing the skill of letting go of the observer, the focus should be placed on experiencing without assuming the role of the audience member. Allowing appearances to manifest in their natural state without attributing them to the identity of the observer is the guiding principle behind this practice. The difficulty lies in avoiding the belief that the observer is a distinct entity, regardless of whether they are located over here or over there. It is suggested that the effort to observe thoughts without identifying with them is just another identity that thoughts create. This is something that is considered to be a part of the realm of thoughts. To recognize thoughts as fleeting, like clouds moving through the sky, is the invitation that is being addressed here. As individuals embark on the journey beyond the illusion of the observer, they are invited to embrace the essence of consciousness during this journey. It turns out that the observer, who was once thought of as a distinct entity, is actually an illusion which acts as a filter over the truth. Through direct experience and the practice of letting go, the nature of consciousness is investigated, which results in the challenge of preconceived notions and the revelation of a profound reality that goes beyond the realm of appearances. Individuals are encouraged to recognize that consciousness is not a thing, but it is not a thing. It is nothing. This exploration facilitates this realization. When one is liberated from the illusion of the observer, the door is opened to the experience of onness, in which everything is perceived as being related to the individual. Individuals are able to experience the dreamlike quality of the world and rest within themselves as consciousness when they engage in the practice of letting go, which becomes a transformative tool. At the end of the day, the call is to go beyond comprehension and enter into direct experience. Individuals are encouraged to share their experiences with this shift in perspective and the journey toward embracing the essence of consciousness beyond the illusion of the observer in the comments section, which is a space that is welcomed.